all new price predictions for Friday with new analyst support resistance levels on a lot of names, as in AMD, as in Tesla as well, starting to come down, testing that support. Very, very critical areas: 𝐬𝐫𝐞, TSM, Palantir, SMCI, and much more. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Let's start off with some of the semiconductors, as I like to do. Smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and thank you for being here. So AMD has still two resistance levels that I'll be looking out for at 162 and 163.40. We're still kind of wanting AMD to break both of those areas before I start looking for like heavy calls. It did have a nice green day today, almost touched support perfect at 154.25. So same areas on AMD. AMD is stalled in here, so no really big direction that we have on AMD, which means a big direction is incoming, but either up or down. It would have to break both for me to focus on up, or it'd have to break the support for me to focus on the down part, right? So as prices in here, it's just going to be a little harder to trade. You really want it when it's playing a little more directional than consolidation. Then let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia has resistance 179.70, support's the same 171.60. Nothing really going on with Nvidia, pretty stalled. Nvidia really has not moved since like the end of July, so that's almost like almost 2 months, and Nvidia really has not moved. So just be cautious of that. I think a bigger movement might be coming on Nvidia. It might be on the downside. I won't go that way until we break this support and also a secondary support. That's when I'll be focused more on puts. So that's why I like to give like my support levels and resistance levels. It kind of helps with the direction. Also, Nvidia ran up and touched this resistance level almost perfect and had some selling pressure off of that as well. So nothing really going on with Nvidia right now either. SMCI. And then long-term shares, of course, I'm holding both of those. Only thing I sold of long-term was 25% of AMD long-term shares. Other than that, and the leaps. But other than that, I'm holding Nvidia. Haven't sold any long-term shares. SMCI. Support, I'm going to leave it at 45.90 because we did close above it. Resistance level is going to stay the same, 47.65. If we break resistance level, then I'll be looking for it to go up to like the $50 range. I might play like a high risk gamble play like of calls, and probably shares. Shares might do around 8 to 10%. Calls might do over 20. We'll kind of see, and then not willing to lose more than maybe 30% on a call option, because I usually go smaller on calls than I do scalps. But yeah, same levels on SMCI. No real big movement out of this range that we've kind of been in. Let's go to 𝐬𝐫𝐺𝐿. 𝐬𝐫𝐺𝐿 did come down to a Pacific level. So what we can do is take off support. So resistance level, it would be probably like around, I would say 344.80. We'll watch out for that as resistance. If 𝐬𝐫𝐺𝐿 breaks this area, remember I told you I was kind of looking for 𝐬𝐫𝐺𝐿 to go down here around the 330s. We literally hit that. So if we break this resistance of 𝐬𝐫𝐺𝐿, I'll be looking for it to go up in the 355s. That will be a potential call option play, because when price moves, you want to see what's an actual play and what's just price movement on random. But yeah, that's what I'm looking out for 𝐬𝐫𝐺𝐿. No real bigger support just yet. TSM, we do want to change. We have two supports. First support, smaller, 269.60. Once that breaks, I'll update you guys on the next support. And then for your first resistance area, it would be right around 280.40. So if we come back up and break that resistance, we'd be looking for TSM to go back to all-time highs. Again, I have 𝐬𝐫𝐺𝐿 shares, haven't sold them. TSM have shares, haven't sold them. Just looking to play the option-wise, building the cash position as well, because once the market turns bearish, I think we might have some fast downside. So just be mindful of that. But those are the levels I'm looking out for on TSM. Let's go over CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike doesn't really have anything big except that resistance level. We might have a smaller support in this area around 465.40, so we could watch out for that smaller support. But like, I wouldn't really do much in here of like calls, puts, nothing really in the area that is kind of in. Let's go over ARM. Haven't updated ARM in a while. New support on ARM. Bigger support is 134.55, and then your resistance is about 143.25. So I wouldn't be looking for upside until we break this resistance area, right? If we don't break that resistance level, I probably won't be looking for calls. But if we do, then we might get a shorter term push, maybe like to the 150. So that's like a smaller reversal play, not like it's going to go to the moon. And then it's just kind of soft, right? A lot of stocks are just kind of soft. If you see ARM hasn't moved for a while, had a little pump, but it came right back down, hasn't moved. SMCI hasn't moved. Nvidia hasn't moved. AMD been slow. We're just kind of slow right now, being in the same price range that we've been in for a couple weeks. So we really need price to kind of start moving out of these ranges. It would just be a little bit better. And then if we go to Intel did have really good push. I did not buy it. It broke that first resistance level, but I was scalping. Again, make sure you guys join the team. You'll see all the scalps I did every morning. These were the 6 scalps that I did. So I give my entries, exits. Some are fast, some are slower. You might lose some, you might win some, but the whole point is to build that confidence, build a strategy on your own so you can start seeing these plays on your own. You won't even need me no more, okay? But yeah, this is about 6 plays today. Had a little fighting to do. Make sure you guys join the team. First in the description. Prices will be going up tomorrow, so Friday into midnight, like into Saturday. Prices will be going back to normal, so make sure you join first in the description to get access to that Discord. You got the monthly, you got the yearly, then you got the lifetime memberships to see me trade every morning and try to build yourself the best way possible. But Intel has broken both of these resistance levels, so we're looking for Intel to go up to that $35 range. I'll see if I try to play it before it hits the $35 range, or I might just kind of let it go. But Intel's having some very nice push. We'll kind of see. I do have another bigger target around the 38s up until the 40s, so we want to make sure that Intel is going to continue run. It's really just running off the Nvidia thing. It's not really moving off of its own, which is something I don't like, right? I'd rather it be moving off its own, not something that Nvidia is doing. So that's the back of my mind. But all I have right now is that support around 29.30. No new resistance just yet. I want to see how we move tomorrow on Intel. But if you have calls or shares, it's doing very good. Target 35. Once we get around this $35 range, I think a new play might be forming on it. Let's go to, well, before we go over to Tesla, let's go to Palantir. Palantir ran up, hit resistance level pretty much perfect, right around 185.75. Had a little selling pressure off of that. Let's change support. We have a smaller support on Palantir around 173.60. So these are our areas. There's nothing that I would do in this Palantir range. Not calls, not puts, not nothing right now. I'm kind of just being patient. If we break that resistance, then I'm going to play calls to all-time highs. Until then, I'm kind of just being patient and waiting. SoFi stock hit the all-time highs. So any new play on SoFi stock will probably come once it breaks resistance, 29.55. I'll probably look for calls to go past 30. Support is still the same, 27.20. Pretty much hit that perfect today. I had some bounce. So if we break that support, there's not really much I would do off that. I'd rather play the calls because it's playing in the strength than playing the downside right now, because every pull down leads to good opportunities for it to go up. So we can kind of just keep playing in the swing areas, which is going to be some new plays we're doing. We're going to start buying more swings on the dips, which will be might be a little better. We're going to start testing those out pretty soon, so make sure you join the team to see those. Always learning, always growing. Now let's go to Tesla. So Tesla hit support today around 423.40. I've been trying to play Tesla swings for about 2 times. The first one I lost about 10%. The second one I lost like 40%. I usually cut it right around 30%. Losing 30% swing is pretty much small because, like I said, I go smaller on swings and I do like scalps. Scalps is my main focus. Swings are just extra. So I'm going to play Tesla again, but we would just need some strength. Tesla's in that slowdown range. That's the only problem. So the next time I play it, I'm going to get longer outdated calls, not like a month out, probably like 3, 4, 5 months out, because we're in the slowdown period of Tesla. So when Tesla runs, that slowdown period, like slowdown period here, big run. Slowdown period here, big run before it hit an all-time high. So we're just kind of in that slowdown period. Nothing says it's going to take a week or two, because last time Tesla ran here, look how long the slowdown period took. Over a month it took for a slowdown period, and then it had the rocket. So we're pretty much waiting for it to get out of the slowdown period on Tesla. So resistance 436.40, support 423.40, and yeah, looking for it to continue going up. I'm gonna also give you a secondary support just in case Tesla has a bigger down day tomorrow, right around 416.65, to see if it holds that. If we don't hold that, then we're probably going down here around the 410s, and I'll probably look for like more puts on Tesla shorter term. So that's what I'm looking at for Tesla. Let's go ahead and let's go over some of the Max 7s. Apple is showing strength, so I'm looking for Apple calls tomorrow. Apple has support around 253. 85. We have some targets on Apple, pretty much the all-time high, which is right around 260. So I'll be looking for some calls on Apple as long as we can hold that strength. We do have resistance around 258.50. So looking for swings on Apple and also scalps on Apple to reach up to those highs. Meta right now, pretty slow. All we really have is support 742.30. Then resistance level is 758.85. Nothing I really do on this Meta area. Maybe look for smaller puts tomorrow to come down and test that support. That's about it that I'll be looking out for. Haven't sold any long-term shares of none of those, by the way. Even Amazon haven't sold any. Looking to actually buy more. So really focusing on building that cash position right now. Support is 214.70 on Amazon and resistance around 233.40. So you just want to be careful. Amazon's been a little bit slower in this range. No real bigger movements or directional movements. So we're going to kind of wait. I am looking. We did play Amazon puts this morning for about 21%. That was one of the wins that I had. I think I had like 3 losses and 3 wins, something like that. But yeah, so that's what I'm kind of looking out for Amazon. Nothing big, just kind of like shorter term plays, scalping it. But I don't think there might be no scalps on it tomorrow in the area that it's kind of in. Microsoft hitting some targets. Microsoft support 501.70. Microsoft had a smaller downward target this morning. That was pretty much it. Microsoft, again, like I told you, a lot of stocks are just in this stalled out range, haven't really moved for a couple weeks. So if you are taking losses, this is reason why, because the market is pretty slow. SPY might be going up, but some of these stocks are very slow in here, very directional. We're not getting pushed like this. We're very stalled in here, like I showed you on Nvidia and AMDs and Microsofts and so much more. So we have to kind of focus on the ones that are actually moving, like Apple's moving. Tesla was moving, but now Tesla's getting slow. But your resistance level, I would say, on Microsoft is right around 514.50. So we'll look out for that as a resistance level on the Microsoft front. Let's go to Google McDougal's. Google has some targets. Let's just take all this off. The only way I would look for Google to go back to all-time highs, meaning calls, is if it broke 254. That's the resistance area. Other than that, not much to do on Google. It is up after hours. With some little push, about 1%, very heavy on Google. Sold all my leaps, but I have the long-term shares. Actually looking to buy more leaps of Google, but since it ran up past all-time highs a good amount, sold the leaps, and I just let the shares kind of pretty much run forever, right? We get our profit off of the leaps. That's why I say make sure you guys join the team first in the description. We also have a private training if you want to take it one step further next week on Saturday. Times will be probably announced a little later at the end of the week or next week. Or if you could join personal training, you get lifetime access for everything. You know what I'm saying? But Google McDougal's, we'll leave it at that. Let's go to health side. Him support 52.80. We'll leave that the same. Resistance level about 57.10. I'll be watching out for that. If we break that resistance, then I'll be looking for him to go 60s. Maybe I'll play some smaller call options, or maybe I'll do shares again. I did play shares of Hims. I sold all the shares of Hims. I think over a 10% gain, and Hims just got a little slow, right? Little pull down. Let's see if Hims can get out of this and break that resistance area. UNH tried to show strength. We have a new resistance level right around, I would say about 351.50. If we can try to break that, then I'm gonna start looking for UNH to go above like 360s, and I'll probably get more calls on UNH. So this is like a key area I'll be looking out for to see if UNH wants to continue. And then also UNH has a support right around 339.30. So those are kind of the levels looking out for UNH. Also, Eli Lilly had some bigger drops today. We sold all of our bigger calls on Eli Lilly. We did amazing off Eli Lilly. I've been kind of waiting for the new buys. A good thing we have been waiting, because we had a bigger drop right here on Eli Lilly. We also have a smaller resistance at 750, 160. So not much I would do at Eli Lilly. If it does get back down to below 600, I'm buying long-term shares down there. Other than that, I'm kind of just more focused on option-wise, because options can pay us a lot. Like we did calls here, and it did like over 200%. I'm in no rush to play Eli Lilly again until there's something else that might be a little bit better, okay? Airlines are starting to drop. They're not really interesting to me. AAL, UAL, Deltas. I really don't see a play on the the airlines right now. I am thinking possible puts. I'm just not seeing anything right now. And also the banks, looking for JPM to go to all-time highs, so that's something we're kind of watching, to go to 317, 15s. Had a little stalled out day today, but the banks are having the strength, so we want to make sure like the banks can continue that strength. So what I would say is, hold on, what is this? There you go. What I would say is, for support, for us to stay bullish on these banks, Morgan Stanley would need to stay above 156.40. If we do that, we're still looking for all-time highs. JPM would need to stay above, I'd probably say 309.70 for it to stay bullish. Bank of America has a more wider range. It would have to stay above 50.70. So this is like a slowdown period, kind of just like this, but we want it to continue up on that higher side. Those kind of support areas I'm looking out for some of the banks. Gold is actually trying to go back up, so I am looking for gold calls to reach up in 350s. And also we have something going on with silver. Silver's doing good. We bought some of those this morning. Make sure you watch the video before this one because I go over a potential stock market crash, S&P 500, the Russell 2000, NASDAQ 100, and I also add gold and silver in there as some little analysts as well. So just make sure you watch out for those for that. Bonds, pretty slow, so nothing yet on bonds. I am waiting for a bigger play on bonds, but they're just not ready yet, so I'm just having some patience on it. Open has support 755, resistance 965. Same levels. If open breaks the resistance level, then I'll be looking for open to push above like $11. I might play some shares on that to see if we get some push. Other than that, I would kind of just wait for that resistance level to break. But if we come back down and break support, then it might want to kind of give some of that run back up. Also, Lyft starting to drop a little bit. Resistance 2255. There's no really clear support just yet. And there's not much I would do with Lyft. I'll probably give Lyft till next week for any potential plays. Uber also, I'll probably give it next week. Same resistance, same support. Nothing really going on. Also, BABA, if it breaks that support, I would look for BABA to go down to closer to 200. And then, Boeing. And then BABA reached the target. So what we have to do is clear all the levels off BABA. And we have to wait for a next potential play. BABA might want to reach it in the like 185s or so, but we'll kind of see. And then there's a lot of stocks I haven't gone over, like Walmarts and Targets and Costco's. We're kind of watching all these. Also Lululemon, we did very good on Lululemon. We played calls. Where did we play calls at? We played calls, I think, here, and we sold most of it on these 2 days right here because we have Lululemon shares. We were down on Lululemon shares because of the drop, but we made all our money back off Lululemon because we played puts somewhere in here. So we were break even. Then we did reversal calls here, and now we're up. So I can hold those Lululemon shares pretty much forever now. Also watching Trade Desk for potential because I'm down on Trade Desk shares. I do want to make it green so I can hold the Trade Desk shares forever. So Trade Desk, I'm looking for some potential reversals. Bitcoin is pulling down, so just be ready for that. We are having some softness on Bitcoin. Just be mindful of that. That's going to bring Ethereum, Solana, Link USD. I don't see any buys on crypto right now. I think we need a bigger pull down for me to start buying. And then Hood, just a monster. New support on Hood, I would say is around 115.10. So we could put that on our chart. That is about it. There's nothing new I would do with Hood right now. I'm kind of just holding the shares and letting that thing boom. Even like Reddit, I'm holding the shares and letting it boom. I sold half of my shares of Reddit over 100% gain, and I'm just holding the rest. So I'm just pretty much chilling on Reddit. There's not much that I can do with Reddit. 224.50 is a new support area as well. Resistance level, we'll keep it around 265.95. Other than that, thank you guys for watching the video. Smash the like button. Always remember, no trade based on a buyer, so anything, just for educational purposes only. So do not trade anything you see or hear in the video. Catch you guys on the next one.